It is week 5 of PFR on Lakeshore PBS. Tonight, we get you ready for another big Friday night of high school football. Some outstanding matchups tomorrow night, Wayne, and
some good games last week.
And all the conferences are going tomorrow night.
Yes, oh yes, that's great.
All right, we'll have all that, the picks, week 4 rewind, all of it's coming up next on PFR.
Program support comes from NIPSCO.
Honey, who is this guy?
Oh, that's Frank. Hey, Frank.
Honey, why is Frank in our bedroom?
He's showing us ways to save money. Plus, he'll even help us install LED bulbs and new shower heads.
Oh, well, he is leaving before I shower, though, right?
To schedule an energy assessment and learn more about energy usage, visit NIPSCO.com.
Frank, could you hand me a towel?
Alrighty, week 5 of PFR on Lakeshore PBS, and as we always start, we look back at the top plays from last week. Wayne, and a lot of outstanding last-second games last week.
Yeah, it really was. I was surprised at the number of really excellent games last week.
We want this, when we really would appreciate if the teams would tell us if it's going to be like a last-second touchdown, so our cameraman could stay instead of having to come back and edit the highlights for PFR scoreboard.
That would be nice, yeah.
All right, let's check out Week 4 PFR Rewind. All right, another great edition of PFR Rewind, that one for week 4 of the high school football season. Time for our players of the week, and as we always do, we will start with our offensive players of the week. Tyler Gomez and that Crown Point offensive line really dominated Friday night.
They really did. You know, my Lake Central underground just kind of was shaking his head and saying, Crown Point was just, the game was almost over in the first quarter. That's how dominant Crown Point was. Gomez was just unstoppable.
That was kind of a surprise, too. Thought it'd be a little closer than that.
Oh, I did, too.
James DeLang, he's been consistently outstanding. week in and week out behind his big offensive line.
And Nick Schoonveld from Kankakee Valley. He's been consistent. We just haven't had him on yet, but boy, people know him. He really had a good one against Notre Dame.
And no advantage yet if it's going to be the James DeLang Offensive Player of the Week award or the Anthony Maceo Offensive Player of the Week.
I know.
No verdict yet.
That's
after,
right. What a
4
comeback.
weeks.
What a comeback. You know, Portage is down and out, and Maceo is able to score, and Lake Portage wins that one 28-21 at Maryville. Wow.
All right, defense. Nothing wrong with the Hobart defense. Even on Saturday morning.
6
As
yards
they,
rushing, they held EC2.
Dominant performance, 2 straight shutouts for the Brickies, and the Hanover Central defense.
Wow, 81 points total offense that they held River Forest.
They've allowed under 100 yards in 3 of their 4 wins.
Right.
So they've been outstanding defensively so far this season. Special teams players of the week, Steven Zakis, I believe is how you say it.
Zakis, good. Nice job.
Thank you.
24 and 44-yard field goals. And Ben Friedrich from Crown Point had a nice 40-yard field goal.
Jordan Pinkins of Morton had a field goal, as did Milan Deselik of KV.
Hey, and 25-yard field goal. So nice special teams there.
And of course, the top honor you can win in high school football in the US of A, it is the unknown PFR Player of the Week.
And there'd be people who might say, some of these guys we've heard of. Certainly Reese Crossan from Valparaiso stepped out this last week against Michigan City, 147 and 2 TDs.
I think he would qualify since he's not a regular starter.
That's right. And
Keontae Shoemate, though,
he had 109 passing and 2 TDs versus Osceola.
Some folks would say the same about Drayson Nespo, that he's been a player for LaPorte.
I totally agree, but yet he really played well, and in their big win.
That was over Chesterton.
That was over Chesterton,
Yep.
right? My fault.
And Marcus Fielder of Maryville.
We talked about him early in the season, transferred in from Clark, and finally he really has come into his own. Cameron Wright hit him with a couple of nice touchdown passes.
You saw that speed down the middle of the field.
Yes, he did.
On that screen.
Yes, he
the
did.
Pass play. That was just some outstanding speed by Fielder and getting all the way to the end zone. All right, time for this week's Little 5 and Top 10 poll. Not much change here, Wayne. I think the Hanover Central Wildcats are looking for some upward mobility into the big guy poll. Maybe Rensselaer's too.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that. And look at that, 4 teams at 4-0. We have 6 teams in the area that are undefeated.
Well, Rensselaer is playing an outstanding opponent this Saturday down in Indianapolis. So I would say that they control some upward movement with the win over West Lafayette.
I agree. I totally agree. And Hanover Central is just pounding people.
They're going to have to wait maybe the week 9 when they take on Griffith for some upward mobility in case some folks fall out of the top 10. Let's check out that top 10 this week. PFR, the only poll that matters, folks, it is the PFR top 10.
Chesterton comes in at 10, 2-2. Crown Point, big win over Lake Central. Portage, even a bigger win against Maryville.
There's parity.
Yes, there is.
Portage has maybe, and folks will be saying, well, why is Portage ahead of Crown Point and Chesterton? I would say it's because of strength of schedule.
Oh, I do too.
They played a more difficult schedule.
That's you read my mind with this. You've got 3-1s with Andrean, New Prairie, Hobart, and Griffith. And Michigan City has played a very difficult schedule, 2-2 on the season. They did beat Griffith early,
and easily could have won the game last week.
Yes,
against
easily,
Valpo on the road.
Yes. And then Lowell is still undefeated.
Lowell's undefeated, and the number 1 team in the poll
is undefeated, and they played the best schedule so far.
Yeah.
4-0 for the Valparaiso Vikings.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
what a run out of the gate for Valpo in the last second win last week. All right, don't forget tomorrow night, Lakeshore game night on 89.1 FM, Lakeshore Public Radio with Wayne and Tommy. It gets going at 6 o'clock. It goes all the way till 10:30.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And then right after that is the scoreboard, PFR scoreboard. We are here at 10:30 to 11, and you and I and Tommy will, go over the scores.
Break it down.
See the
and
highlights.
I just want folks to know all those live reports from across Northwest Indiana on 89.1 FM. That was great last week. You had about 2 or 3 last-second victories.
Oh, it was outstanding.
Yeah,
And we
week.
had guys that did the play-by-play in those
Yeah.
last seconds. Gary
Yeah.
Graben and
Definitely.
Reed Amons was just
Yeah.
outstanding.
Some great stuff. All right, time now it is time for Throwback Thursday on PFR. We take you back to week 5, November 3rd, 2006. Lowell taking on Hobart, defending state champ Red Devils were the underdogs, but they didn't look like it on the road against the Bricks. Red Devils made a big play after big play, but the Brickies would then respond. Hobart running back Andrew Jackson scored multiple touchdowns in this one. There he goes right there, big old number 6. Lowell with some heroics in the final seconds, a field goal to win 31-28. And I'm trying to remember who that was, that kicker. Oh, I think he went on to kick in college as
Really?
well. I'm not going to get it. That's our trivia question for
Okay.
tonight, Wayne. Go to our Facebook page at Lakeshore Prep Sports and put
Who
on
was
there
that
who was that Lowell kicker? It wasn't a Hudak, was it?
No, I don't think so. From a long, no.
All right, we'll see.
I can't remember yesterday.
Yeah.
All right.
About it. I can't remember this morning. All right, another edition, great edition of Throwback Thursday on PFR. Time now for the game of the week.
Yep.
Andrean, Hobart. But first, we'll go to a timeout right after this on PFR.
For more information on everything Prep football, visit us on Facebook or on Twitter at PFR Sports.
You know, now that we're mentioning trivia, I just had an idea pop in my head. We should have there's so many assistant coaches and coaches now in Northwest Indiana that played high school football in the region. We should have them like try to ask us when our guys go out to interview the different coaches what their
That's
number
a great
was in
idea.
high school.
That's right. That's right.
Because
Great idea.
we would miss every week.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
I don't think there's any doubt. Time for our game of the week. It's Andrean and Hobart. T-Dub was out to get the latest on the Niners and the Brickies.
And Joe and Wayne, both teams are coming in with very impressive wins. Andrean did a number on Hammond this past Friday. They hope to do the same tomorrow when they take on the Hobart Brickies. This guy can tell you a few things about winning. He played on a state championship team. He's now a football coach, the football coach with Andrean. Chris Skinner, how does this team look? Oh, of course, got to do the handshake there. There you go. I'm doing great, fantastic. Thanks for inviting us here. And
Thanks for coming out.
how do they look so far tonight?
Good. It's early in the week, so we installed our game plan yesterday. So we're going to work on it the next couple of days. But everything looks good. We feel comfortable with the guys we got out there, and we're ready to go. It's a big game. It's going to be a good atmosphere, and we're excited for it.
And you bounced back and get a very impressive win against Hammond last week.
Yeah, it was a good win. It was sloppy at times, but overall it was a good win. Like I said, we wanted to do some different things. We wanted to install some new things, and Hammond was the first time of showing that on a Friday night, and I thought the things that we implemented, we did a good job with. So a lot of positives to take out of that, yes.
Let's talk about Teely and what he brings to this ball club.
He's a very versatile back. We have a variety of different run schemes, and he's just good at kind of running all of them. He's got really good vision, which is essential for our zone schemes because he's good at finding those alleys, but also our gap schemes. He knows how to hit the hole hard. He can catch the ball out of the backfield when we ask him to. He can block for us in pass protection. So he's just an all-around complete back, and it's nice to have somebody back there like that.
And now you have Hobart coming up. They put big numbers on East Chicago last week, so your defense will be tested.
They will for sure. Hobart's good. That offense, I know last year they graduated some key players. I feel like this year's Hobart offense is a little more dynamic than last year's offense, and it's going to present a challenge. Their quarterback is good. He's athletic. And we're going to have to contain him, and their skill position players can make plays, and they get off the ball on the line, so it definitely presents a unique challenge.
Before we let you go, I pick up the paper on Saturday, and it says Andrean beats Hobart. How did you do it?
Well, defensively, we're going to have to be sound. We're going to have to be fundamentally sound. We weren't against New Prairie at all times, and they're one of those teams that if there's a weakness, they're going to find it. And I think Hobart's going to be looking for that same approach. So across the board, all 11 on defense are going to have to be in sync. They're going to have to take care of their responsibility. And then offensively, we're going to have to make plays. Our skill guys are going to have to make some plays. Our line's going to have to play well because their defense is fast and they fly around, and it's impressive to watch on film. So it's going to have to be a complete performance for us to get it done. That's what we're going to work on this week.
We have to head out to Hobart, but let me get one more handshake.
Thank you,
Appreciate you joining us, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you guys do. It's an honor to have you guys out here.
Piece of cake, partner. Piece of cake. Okay, it's on to Hobart. And guys, we have Ryan Turley of Hobart joining us, their fine head coach. And before we talk football with you, let's talk about Coach Grabchak, who had the heart attack recently, and I know the team has been playing hard for him. Could you give us an update on his condition right now?
Well, he's still up at Northwestern, and he's improving daily. He's fighting hard, and any prayers that we can have from everybody. He appreciates it, and so does our program.
And I know he has to be proud of the fact that you guys have pitched 2 straight shutouts against Westside and East Chicago, held East Chicago to only 6 yards rushing. That's not bad.
Yeah, it draws a smile to his face every time we're able to update him on the scores and the games and so forth. So that gives him some life and gives him something to fight for. We can't wait to have him back out here with us.
And you'll be going after it with a pretty good defense, as we mentioned. Let's talk about the defense and do some name dropping if you wish.
Yeah, just right up front, right off the bat, you got Ryan Pizarski coming back as an all-state defensive lineman, and he's the center of our group right there. And then you got Jordan Kraft behind him, so two big seniors that fill up the middle for us. And we got just a group of young linebackers that have surprisingly picked it up and are doing the job, and we're getting 11 guys to the ball, and that's what we're happy about.
And let's talk about the other side of the ball right now. You have a quarterback, Ehrlich, who was not a quarterback until just recently. Tell us the story about how he became your starting QB.
Well, Sam last year played for us on both sides of the ball. He just wasn't playing at the quarterback position, but we knew he was one of our best athletes on the team. And around springtime, we were just like, we didn't know which direction we were going. We graduated 2 senior quarterbacks last year that split time, and we wanted to put one of our best athletes in the position to be in the quarterback, and we asked him if he'd move there, and he said, I'll do anything for the team.
Well, the best is going to have to continue against an Andrean team who's pretty good. They were down a couple of weeks ago, but bounced back last week. Your thoughts on the 59ers?
Yeah, Andrean's always a well-coached team. Coach Skinner over there is doing a great job, and, it's always a battle, Hobart versus Andrean, since, back in the 80s.
What is your biggest concern about the 59ers offensively and defensively?
Well, they got a real nice tailback that runs the ball hard. We're definitely going to have to stop them. And I like I tell you guys always, it's going to come down to the trenches. Who wins it up front. And if we're the most physical team up front, then I think we'll have a good shot.
Wish you the best coming up on Friday, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All righty. Guys, you heard both sides of the story now. Who you got?
All righty, you see it, Hobart and Andrean, a big rivalry, big matchup. I'm sorry, I'm just digressing again, Wayne, but I think Coach Turley was one of my favorite Brickies of all time.
Yeah,
I think I know. I think I know he was 47. I'll remember. I think I remember that. I'm not positive, but I think that's what it was. So, hey,
But
Hobart,
this is going to be a good one.
he hit it all.
Yes, he did.
You know, contained Teely Ryan.
Right.
You know, they
and
have to stop
Hobart's
him.
defense, 2 straight shutouts. You know, so they need to put pressure on Merrill.
It was
the
interesting for me
quarterback.
to hear that Coach Skinner thought that Hobart's offense this year is more dynamic
Really?
than it
That's
was.
right.
You know,
You know,
last year.
it kind of surprised me too.
But they exploded against LaPorte, which
they
is, you know,
and they opened up some big holes and stuff there.
Coach Howell always would say that you make the most improvement from week 1 to week 2 of the season.
Right.
And Hobart really did improve a
Yes.
lot from week 1 to week 2 of the season this year.
I thought Ehrlich has improved on his passing a little bit. He's
Well,
always
yeah.
been a good runner, but boy, if he can hit 4 or 5 passes for, you know, some distance and stuff, Hobart's offense could really take off.
All right, Wayner, it's time for you.
I
put it
really
on the
like
line.
Hobart. I
Yeah.
like Hobart's defense.
I do too.
It's at Andrean, and this is a huge game, I think, for Andrean to show us how good they are. But boy, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a battle in the
Yeah,
trenches.
it's a tough matchup. Hobart's offensive line was very physical against LaPorte. Must have been very physical last week. You just think that they're going to continue to move on,
Right.
especially with the start of the conference season. All right, time now for the picks. It's time for week 5 of Wayne's World.
Okay, I don't want to say anything, but we kind of you just kind of glossed over the fact that Waynesville was 18-2 last week. Now over the
didn't know.
70% mark.
I didn't know.
73.
Well, you know, if you're over 73, if you're up to 73, then Dr. Reed Amons needs to redo the formula for
Well,
what
he
my
already-
percentage will be.
He already said you have to be at 60.
I thought he said it was between 52
He said
and
52 and 60.
Well, I think I'm closer to 52 now that you're up to 73. I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but that's what I would say. All right.
All right, let's go to the picks then. All right, we start out with Portage. This is going to be a great game. Portage over Crown Point. It's at Portage. Crown Point has the defense that they could stop Maceo.
Well, I think the key to Crown Point is don't let Portage have the ball left.
Right. That's right. That's right. Meticulously drive it down the field.
LaPorte a big favorite
I
against
do.
Lake
A big
Central.
favorite. It's at LaPorte. And Valparaiso, this is a county, big
This
game.
is a
This
tremendous
big
rivalry game, Wayne.
Yes.
You know, I wouldn't call it a friendly rivalry.
No, I wouldn't either.
But it's not like it is sort of a neighborly rivalry.
Yes.
It's not Munster and Griffith back in the day.
Right,
it's
right.
not Andrean and Griffith back in the day. But
I would not be shocked if Chesterton
Oh.
really gave them a good
oh,
game.
I wouldn't be either. There's been years where Chesterton was not very good and still beat Valpo.
Right, that's right.
And they're looking for nothing more than to do that tomorrow night. Elsewhere,
Michigan City is hosting Maryville, and I think that Michigan City, boy, what a crushing loss last week in the last minute. But Phil Mason's going to have those guys ready to play.
right?
And I like Hammond over Clark. This is another, the bottom game here, Lowell. I like Lowell over KV at KV. But KV's offensive and defensive line are huge,
Well-
and Schoonveld has really played well.
This is kind of a barometer game for KV. How well do they measure up against one of the top teams in the area?
Right, who's a physical team. That's right. Moving on, we've got, I think Morton is at home against Westside, and it's Morton here. The Battle of the Bridge right here, Highland and Munster, and this is going to be a close one.
I think so.
You know, you
Should
can
be a
throw
pretty
out the
close game.
records. You know, Highland won last week and Munster struggled, but it's going to be a close one. And East Chicago is home against Gavin. I like East Chicago.
Could be a close one there too.
Yeah.
EC is slight favorite though. I've got to agree on that one.
And North Newton is at Westville, and North Newton's defense is too good here. Griffith and Wheeler. You know, this is going to be an interesting game. I know Griffith's going to score points, but can Wheeler keep up with them? I'm looking at Griffith here.
It appears that I'm not going to pick any games this
Okay,
week. Since you're picking the
I
favorite.
like Calumet to get a victory here against Knoll.
All right, elsewhere.
South Central travels to River Forest. I think this is going to be a close one. It may be closer than the 24-14, but I like South Central the way they're playing. And
Hanover?
I like Hanover Central over Boone.
Barometer game for Boone
Yep,
Grove.
that's
they
right.
measure up against one of the top teams in their class.
And I think the light has gone on at Whiting.
Oh, why River Forest, Wayne?
I have no idea. I picked South Central.
Well, let's read. It's an even game, but the Ingots beat Boone Grove late. I think they could win a close game late, is what
Yeah,
I'm
I do
saying.
too, yes.
And they're at home. So I think River Forest could pull the upset
This is going to be a tight
against South
one.
Central.
This is going to be a tight one. I think that
Yeah.
River Forest is due.
All right, you got Judson over Winnemac.
I do. Judson over Winnemac, just because I picked Winnemac last week and you just trounced me there. And
Rensselaer over
Rensselaer is
Lafayette.
a Saturday game. It's not a Friday.
And
it's
I
a
think
Saturday
in
game.
Lucas Oil.
Yes, it is. And
And,
then I like Bowman over Roosevelt. Sorry, Tommy.
Shout out to our guy Eric Nolan, who's an assistant down there and who was featured this week on TV on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations,
Did he
Eric.
win?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Could still be going on.
Oh, I see.
But I got to pick West Lafayette. Maybe they'll
Wow.
fire him up.
Oh, Coach Meeks won't be happy with
No,
that.
he won't be. All right, we'll see you Friday night for another edition of PFR Scoreboard on Lakeshore PBS.
Program support comes from NIPSCO.
Honey, who is this guy?
Oh, that's Frank. Hey, Frank.
Honey, why is Frank in our bedroom?
He's showing us ways to save money. Plus, he'll even help us install LED bulbs and new shower heads.
Oh, well, he is leaving before I shower, though, right?
To schedule an energy assessment and learn more about energy usage, visit NIPSCO.com.
Frank, could you hand me a towel?